When's the last time you talked to Pete?
Last night before he dropped me off.
Well, Pete, we found Pete this morning. He's been killed.
What? What?
This is 28-year-old Cameron Scott Halliburton, also known as Fish. We can see that he's bawling his eyes out to hear his best friend, Jared Klein, die, but at this very moment, things were about to get worse.
It's just a picture of a picture. We've looked at it, we've blown it up.
The CCTV puts Cameron right near the crime scene, making him the last person to be with Jared, and also a prime suspect.
Were they saying I'm a suspect or something?
Well, it's looking that way.
I'm gonna kill my best friend.
We don't think you would do it intentionally.
I didn't do it at all.
Can I see your jacket here?
I would say that's blood.
The clues are evident, but the answer is yet to be unveiled. Was Cameron feigning innocence, or had he just realized that a sinister secret was on the verge of being exposed? In the early hours of November 26, 2017, Texarkana police responded to a 911 call reporting a single vehicle accident. They arrived to find 27-year-old Jared Klein strapped in the driver's seat of his Chevrolet Colorado truck, which was parked against a tree with the keys missing. But what made the scene truly horrifying were the numerous stab wounds to his face, neck, and chest, along with a pool of blood spreading beneath him. Here's the actual footage of the officers at the scene.
You got a gunshot wound? I can't tell.
His chest is wet. His shirt is.
Okay.
Man. Where's the recruit at? Do you see a gun or anything? Some blood splatter or something?
There's not any blood on the dash.
Well, man, the airbags didn't even deploy.
There's blood going down the...
See his wrist? Can you see his wrist? Nah, but his shirt's wet. You see the blood on his shirt? He's got rigor mortis though. He's already got rigor mortis though. So
Yeah, probably 6 to 8 hours.
It appeared to be a deadly assault from an angry enemy, as Jared was stabbed for a total of 10 times. But there was just one piece of critical evidence for the police. They found a receipt and his cell phone inside the car. However, their first step was to review CCTV footage from a nearby Family Dollar store, hoping to piece together the timeline of the crash. But what they hadn't expected was for the footage to reveal much more than the timeline of events. What they witnessed was the out-of-control car running at full speed and barely passing by the shop. But along with that, they noticed a man, visibly intoxicated, approaching the shop right after the car passed by. And to make things even easier for the officers, they managed to get clear footage of the unknown person's face. Next, the police turned their attention to the other items found at Jared's car. Luck was on their side when they examined his phone and discovered something crucial: the call log. They dialed the most recent number, reaching Jared's friend, DeQueener Mitchell, and that's where they found the information they needed. Mitchell informed the police that she, Jared, James Cherry, and another man known as Fishman had gone to the Flying J to panhandle. When the police showed her the CCTV footage, she immediately confirmed that the man in the clip was indeed the Fishman. With that revelation, the police finally had the key lead they needed to crack the case wide open. When officers arrived at the location where Fishman was supposed to be staying, he was nowhere in sight. However, they uncovered his identity, 28-year-old Cameron Scott Halliburton. Not long after, they located him, finding him not in any residence, but asleep beside a dumpster. At first, Cameron seemed calm and collected during the interrogation, but he had no idea his world was about to turn upside down as the events of that bad night came to light one by one.
I can't see your eyes. Okay, perfect, man. I appreciate that.
He wanted to see if he had more hair than we did.
No,
I have more hair than
I actually just knocked it off from Thanksgiving.
You got less foreman than you have.
Yeah.
Starting to rain. I mean, I didn't go.
Yesterday was Saturday, right?
Yeah, it
What,
was Saturday.
Thanksgiving you spent with your family, friends,
No,
what?
I didn't do no Thanksgiving
Okay.
like that.
Didn't do no Black Friday shopping. Okay. Where'd you spend the night, Friday night?
At the house.
What house?
2022 Allen Lane.
Is that your house?
No. I take that back. I stayed on Fish Street at Harold's house that night because I didn't want to walk all the way to Ellie.
As things had been cleared up enough about his identity, the detective jumped right into the day of the incident and would soon understand. He would go on to change statements.
So you spent the night at Harold's house.
Okay, yeah. Spent the night at Harold's house. I got up Saturday, went by Andrews. Not quite
That's
sure.
where we just were, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the Main Street Apartments. Not quite sure where he was. And then he and Jared and Gotti popped out of nowhere, knocked on the door. I was like, hey.
And Andrews?
Yeah, at Andrews. And rode around with them. We go and eat at the little friendship centers and stuff. So we dropped Gotti and Melissa back off. He had left me and went and picked up Shane. It's Shane Anderson. I hung out with Andrew for a little bit. Pete came back, got us. Then we went and picked up TT and Cherry.
Who's TT?
That is the little black girl that was earlier with Andrew. That's her girlfriend.
Okay.
Some unfamiliar names are emerging, but rest assured, they hold no relevance to the case. They're simply acquaintances of Cameron with no connection to the story.
We took Cherry to the Mandeville Flying J. He's a window washer, I'll say. He gets out there and he panhandles us a little gas washing windows on the truckers. Cherry.
Cherry does.
Yeah, he gets out there cleaning the windows.
Who all went to Mandible?
Me, Queen, and Cherry. And yeah, that was it.
Cherry?
Yeah, and Cherry.
You
And Queen. Yeah, that's all I know her by is Queen. Everybody's all nicknames.
and Jared?
And Jared, yeah.
How long were y'all out there?
Which, when I say Pete, if you hear me say Petey, I'm talking about Jared.
It's Jared. That's
Jared.
like people call him in school and stuff.
Petey, yeah. His mom can't stand it. She's God, Jared.
Why'd y'all call him Petey?
He got it in about ninth grade.
Mm.
He got it in softball nickname, so. And everybody still calls me Fish. I'm like, well, if I'm Fish, you're Petey still. So.
So you went out there. What happened out there?
Did some panhandling. Came back into town. We hung out at Cleaning's house till maybe about midnight, I'll say. And we got a call from Duck. And Duck wanted to go to Mr. D's. So I was like, well, I ain't never been to Mr. D's, but he wasn't trying to pay nobody's way in. I was like, well, all right, anyway, let's go.
Cameron's claim about visiting Mr. D's checked out, as officers verified it with CCTV footage showing him there. However, when it came to the rest of his story, the truth remained uncertain, and only time would reveal how much of it was real. But first, the detectives will want to know his perspective on Jared.
Is that nice again?
Jared's the type of guy, man, to see you walking down the road and pick you up to give you a ride.
Cool.
You know, I mean, he's the type to 2:30 in the morning, you got your flashers on, he's going to pull over and help you, regardless of what we got going on. I mean, Pete's a good dude. He's actually the one that got me this little gig that we're supposed to be going and doing in Shreveport.
What's that?
He's a welder. I'm supposed to go as his helper.
Cool.
Be a welder's helper. I mean, I do electrical, but he's like, man, we'll get you in there as a labor hand cam. You know, I said, I don't know nothing. I said, I know there's a MIG weld and a TIG weld, but I don't know the difference between either one.
What'd y'all do after you left there?
Came back into Texarkana, and he hollered something about he had some business to go take care of, which, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Pete's got a little bit of a mad habit.
Cameron's answers are all carefully thought out. It's almost too diplomatic. He spoke well of Jared, offering compliments, but then quickly turned and mentioned some of Jared's bad habits to the detectives. It was a subtle shift, but it left his true feelings toward Jared a mystery.
Do you ever do any?
I mean, I've dabbled with it. It's not my cup of tea, brother. I'm like I said, I like to smoke my.
What does that do to you? Like synthetic and stuff, what does it do to you?
It
Mess
just-
you up pretty bad?
Not really. I mean, to me, it's not for everybody, but to me, I just get I get a regular high off of it. You know, it gives me a little bit of
You
cotton.
don't drink or anything last night?
I'm not a drinker.
Any pills or anything like that?
That synthetic, I started smoking it about 7 or 8 years ago.
That long?
I mean, I've like I said, I just recently picked it back up, but I started about 7 or 8 years ago, and it actually made me quit drinking the rum I was drinking. I can't drink beer. Got to where I couldn't drink soda pops for the longest. Carbonation would just jack my stomach up. I did a lot of juice and stuff like that. He already had some business to take care of, which he didn't say, but I kind of had a feeling. And I mean, my dad I don't judge nobody for their habits by no means, because I had my own, but I was like, all right, Pete, you drop me off over here by JR's house. My buddy stays on 38th and Elizabeth.
JR?
Yeah. And he just dropped me off right there on the corner, but I went and knocked on the door, and nobody answered the door. I don't have a phone. By the time I turned around, Pete was already drove off. Which I was like, okay, I just sat on JR's porch for a little while. I'm thinking maybe, Pete will just go whatever he's got to go do.
About what time was that, you think?
Long enough to get back in from wherever Mr. D's, Mandeville or Hope, whatever town that little bar is in, to make it to state line. So however long that would be. Nobody answered. Pete didn't come through for about 45 minutes, and I was cold, so forget it. I didn't want to walk all the way back to Italy, so the closest spot I knew to walk was Andrew's house. I just took off walking over there, and he answered the door for me. I stayed the night there last night.
It has to be kept in mind that this was Cameron's first version of the story. However, as the interrogation progresses, it becomes clear just how much his stories will begin to shift and change. Additionally, by this time in the interrogation, the detectives still haven't clarified to him that Jared is dead. So the interrogation is going to get quite interesting.
All my machetes are in the back of Pete's truck. My tote clothes. I mean, that's literally all my clothes. I got to get those. And
what are they doing in his truck?
He's my roommate. We're just supposed to take.
Where y'all room at?
2022 Allen Lane, but we don't have no water.
Is that kind of abandoned house?
See, and you know about it. I moved in telling Dwayne that, hey, you said you had some electrical problems, I'll come fix some work, give me a spot to stay. I had an apartment was supposed to come through. Me and Dwayne got into it, and he's actually like a big, swole, buff penitentiary. I think he's actually in jail right now. And,
Dwayne?
Yeah, and he scared the hell out of me one night, and I kind of went a little ham in the paint on him, which he roughed me up first, but he's the one that called the cops. And the only reason I stayed is because I felt like, man, my head was all swollen. I'm like, hey, I'm self-defense, brother, He told me I'd better not go back to sleep for my own good, and I had to be up at work the next morning, a new job working for Miss Glenda Roofing. And the cops came, they said, well, he called, you're the aggressor. He's got almost 100 pounds on me. He's swole. I mean, I'm a little bitty guy, bro. I said, he's got almost 100 pounds on me. He has previous assault charges. I have a clean record. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to sit and pretend to be innocent.
You do have a clean record.
I'm not an aggressive person, but and that's what I told him. I said, Dwayne, you spooked me that night. You really scared me, dude. And that's the reason I wanted you to get off of me. And after that, I sat there. He said he was calling the cops. I said, well, call them. I told the cops, I said, it was all self-defense. I stayed here because I was waiting on y'all to come back. Like I said, try to tell them I got a clean record. I'm not aggressive.
So y'all dropped Duck off
at Mr. D's.
Yeah. And nobody else in the car with you?
No, it's just me and Pete.
Just you and Pete. Mm-hmm. And y'all left and came back to
Texarkana.
Cameron keeps insisting it was just him and Jared before his death. This makes him the last person with Jared, a detail that's hard to ignore. And while it seems straightforward, this is where things start to go wrong for Cameron.
Well, were you with him when he did that? It's just...
No, sir.
Well, it just don't, it ain't adding up. Him good friends, and I wouldn't, if he go take us to business, I would have went with him, especially if he was a little hanked up about something.
You asked if I ever used methamphetamine before. I did when I was 15, 16 years old, and I started kind of selling the stuff. My mom found about 3.5, 4 grams of mine. I taped it to my stepdad's military locker, and she ate it, and it almost killed my mom. Put a big cyst on her face, and she had to go to the hospital. Big cyst. She still to this day, she doesn't know that was mine, but I don't judge nobody for it, but, if I'd have killed my mama,
oh, man.
so it makes me uncomfortable. You know, like I said, I don't judge nobody. I know when Pete's using. I can tell when Pete's using. I mean, I've known him for that long. But
we just want you to be 100% honest with us.
Cameron claims he doesn't take drugs, and that might be true. However, the CCTV footage clearly shows him acting under the influence of something. But aside from that, things start to get interesting from this point on.
I wasn't at a Family Dollar last night.
You weren't coherent like you are now. It looked like.
I wasn't at a Family Dollar last night, though. I mean, I stayed the night at Andrew's house.
Yes. And we talked to Andrew, and you got there between 2 and 3. He thinks closer to 2, well, between 2 and 3. This is at the Family Dollar about 1:45, 1:46, 1:47. So you weren't at Andrews at that time.
No, probably not.
And I think that I'm not trying to hink you up.
What's going on? Can I? Because now I'm. Can I know what's going on?
Well,
I mean, I kind of think I felt like I've given y'all some information.
Yeah.
I've been on.
You have been very helpful. Appreciate it.
when's the last time you talked to Pete?
Last night before he dropped me off.
Well, Pete, we found Pete this morning. He's been killed.
What? What? Duck. He's a dealer. Oh, my God. No.
Cameron quickly tries to throw the person named Duck under the bus, hoping to shift the blame. However, this tactic is unlikely to help him. Moreover, as the detectives prepare to show him a picture from the CCTV footage that will change the course of this interrogation entirely.
It's just a picture of a picture. We've looked at it. We've blown it up. That's you at the Family Dollar I was telling you about.
Jacket and your blue shirt.
Your shirt, your boots. There's other angles from outside. That's about 1:40 something a.m. this morning.
Now, we don't know everything that happened.
There's a reason for everything to happen. And we
Wait, where did y'all just say y'all found Pete? By that Family Dollar?
Yes.
Were they saying I'm a suspect or something?
Well, it's looking that way.
I'm going to kill my best friend.
And we don't think you would do it intentionally.
I didn't do it at all. I was doing it unintentionally.
And who else was there?
Nobody was with us when Pete dropped me off.
I mean, do you agree that is you looking at that picture?
That's me, brother. I mean, I'm not going to say that.
Can I see you? Jacket you?
What'd you say that is right there?
I don't know.
I would say that's blood.
You are finna try to say that I killed Pete. No, I'm not going for this.
We want to know if you were there.
No, I wasn't there, brother. I wasn't there.
But you were on the video.
Okay, do y'all have some video of me stabbing my best friend?
Cameron just mentioned something he shouldn't have. No one had told him about Jared being stabbed, yet he directly asked the detectives about it. This should have been a key moment in the interrogation, but perhaps the detectives chose to hold back, wanting to gather more information before responding.
Do y'all have Pete with me? I mean...
We have you telling us you were somewhere else, but you weren't.
I was dropped off on 38th and Elizabeth last night, brother.
Okay.
How are you going to say that for sure?
You remember talking to the person in the car by Family Dollar? They pulled over, the car drove by, turned around and came back and stopped on the side of the road. You walked over and talked to him. There's good video at Family Dollar. You walked over and talked to the car, the dark color car. You remember talking to him? You got a pretty distinct look to you.
So that's why I was asking, was you own something that you didn't, or somebody made,
That's why we're asking about the drugs. It made you do something. If he got you to do something that you don't do, but you're trying to help him out and try to stay with him, try to keep him from doing something stupid, but then he ends up talking you into doing something stupid. That's what we want to know.
I don't do meth. I'll take a drug test, whatever y'all want.
No,
I mean,
Will synthetic make you act crazy sometimes?
No, I mean,
Because we've had people that didn't make them
y'all pulled up on me.
crazy.
I don't. It gives me a regular whole feed high, brother. I get the munchies, I eat something, I lay down. It only lasts about 20 minutes. I don't act crazy or anything.
When you were tore up when you walked into the Family Dollar because you walked smack into the door, which we're going to have your DNA on the door. You swabbed that. And you fell backwards and you wandered around the parking lot for several minutes and you kept looking around the corner where his truck was.
No, I don't remember any of this.
Were you on any drugs last night?
No.
Besides synthetic?
No, all
You
I
take
did.
pills at all?
No, all I did was smoke synthetic last night with Pete.
Are you schizophrenic or anything like that? You don't take any medicine for that?
I'm not.
What time did y'all smoke that synthetic?
Between the time D's on the way back into town.
Okay. So that's about what time this happened. Do you even really remember how you got to Elizabeth Street?
Pete dropped me off.
No, Pete didn't drop you off.
Yes, he did. Pete was the only person I was with last night. Pete.
Dropped you off. Pete couldn't have dropped you off at Elizabeth Street.
Because we got video of Pete's truck
Crashing.
crashing with
And
you.
you walking up to the store
Just
like that.
Whether Cameron is pretending during the interrogation or truly doesn't remember any of it remains unclear at this point. However, one thing is certain. He's in desperate need of a solid defense to get himself out of this interrogation. Let's see what he decides to do.
You said y'all have video of Pete's truck crashing and then me walking up. Y'all got video of me getting out of Pete's truck? I mean, what kind of hard evidence is this? I mean,
I'm gonna go with you having blood on his blood on your jacket. There's pretty good evidence. And this ain't something we're trying to put on
We're
you.
not trying to put
We're-
anything on you. 'Cause
So
there's-
we're understanding of what happens. There's things in life that makes people do things. There's two sides to
reasons why things happen. And I'll tell you why. We've dealt with people, and you're not the person that we deal with normally that do this kind of thing. We deal with people that are just badass people that don't care about anybody else, that hurt people to hurt people. We deal with those, and I can't stand dealing with them, and Detective Easy can't stand with them. But we also deal with people like yourself that make mistakes. But the problem is they make another mistake when they come in and they don't. When we give them their time to tell us what happened, they don't tell us what happened. I mean, if Pete had been doing some meth and he attacks you or something like that, man, this is the time to let us know what's going on. We can't know, like we were in the truck with y'all. I know we talked to Andrew, he says y'all been fighting, and he says Pete's been he's kind of been snobbish and act like he's better than everybody, like he's coming down on y'all and stuff, and I don't know why, and maybe that's the drugs making him do that. And maybe he's freaking talking down you, maybe he's attacking you, maybe he's trying to get you bought that bow for $5, you know what
Pete's my
happened.
best.
what happened last night. There's no doubt in both our minds that you really love Pete. You really like Pete. Y'all thick. But something happened in that truck last night. And only you can tell us what really happened.
I don't know.
What kind of drugs were you on last night?
I just smoked Eddie. That's all I do. I have to pass that drug test. I only smoke Eddie. He wanted to risk his little he gets out in 3 days. Hey man, whatever, Pete, you're a grown ass man, dude. That's your business, brother. I'm anti. I'm not
Does he
going
smoke the meth or shoot it out?
He shoots it. He's a freaking.
Had he gone and got some?
Not around me. I'm uncomfortable around it. I don't even want him around whenever he's high.
Was he because you wouldn't go with them?
No.
Was he? There had to be a reason. I don't think you're that type of person that would just attack somebody. I think you need to be just like this guy I was living with. You know, you fought back when you was getting attacked. I don't think you're the type that just attacks people. There's something that happened. And unfortunately, we know you there. There's no, we can debate anything you want to debate, but we can't debate that, bud. We know it happened, but we just like to hear your side of the story. I don't want to think that someone go ahead and start telling a story that you robbed him or you was whatever. I feel like there's a reason that something like this.
Is that possible?
Cameron first tried to dodge the question with a logical answer, then shifted the focus more on a drug test. Now he's asking for a cigarette. It wasn't the best escape plan, but it bought him some time. However, after taking a puff, things quickly went back to square one.
There was nobody else in the truck with you. and you and Petey was the only two people in the truck.
He said, "Hey man, you want to smoke now?" I said, "Sure, but you know, if I smoke, I'm just gonna sleep the whole trip back." He said, "I know." I said, "All right, put your little country music on." And just smoke out of a little socket, a little one here. And then he took my nap.
Where'd you wake up at?
He was dropping me off on 38th Street. That's what I say, man. Maybe he didn't come back and get me though. He didn't. I will be honest with y'all here too. They what they call flex. It's like when they try to home make the synthetic.
Yeah.
It won't work very good. But I did notice that little bit we had last night was really strong. Really strong.
Who'd you get it from?
He probably got it from Doug. That's probably what he got for giving a ride to.
You think it messed with you?
If anything, like I said, I just went to sleep. All I ever do is crash out.
So what you got?
Second, I'm gonna take your jacket out here so we analyze it, okay? You cut yourself in your arm?
I got a cut on my finger.
How'd you get there?
That's that hand.
Be right back, okay? Can you get your glass of water or anything?
Cameron's story changes at this point, which only makes matters worse for him. With the new developments, the detectives take a step back to regroup, reviewing the key points they've noted and sending the jacket for blood testing. After a while, the detectives return, this time to push Cameron further, and they do it quite well.
Ooh, sorry. What's wrong? Everything okay?
I'm ready to go, guys. Today's been overwhelming. I want to go by Queen and TT. I want to go talk to Cherry. That's probably where I'm going to stay the night at tonight.
Where does Cherry stay?
He lives with this little black girl that was up there. He lives with Queen.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
What's that?
You're gonna be under arrest.
For what?
Murder in the first degree.
How do you figure? What is it? I want some evidence. This says I get to talk to a lawyer. What? How am I getting arrested for murder in the first degree? What evidence do you have?
We got blood on your jacket. We got video yet to see.
Of me walking from the opposite direction.
Okay,
You're a place that you weren't even supposed to be. You said you were at 38th and Elizabeth.
I'm 28 years old. As far as I could go where I need to, brother. I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah, and then when we asked you about it, you lied about where you were.
JR did not answer the door.
Well, you didn't. You're not no fucking magic witch, and you didn't fly out from 38th and freaking Elizabeth
so
down
you went
to
from being
9th
cool
and
with me,
Jefferson.
cussing at me and talking this way. Y'all really
No,
think I killed my best friend? What the? I didn't.
I still don't think you did it intentionally.
I
think
didn't do
something
it at
happened.
all. I didn't do it at all.
Who was in the car with y'all?
Nobody was with
When
us.
y'all took
He
Duck
dropped me
when y'all
off.
took Duck to the club, where did he sit at?
He was in the back seat.
Driver's side, passenger side.
Drivers.
He sat behind.
He sat behind Pete.
Sat
So he
behind.
always said, because I'm so tall, so I sit back.
That makes sense.
You know, I sit back.
That's how the seat was when we found it this morning.
And he didn't come back from y'all with y'all.
He didn't come back.
Y'all
No.
left him there.
He told us if he didn't walk back to the truck in 5 minutes, which, I mean, we knew we were leaving him at the bar. I didn't kill Pete, though.
Did y'all smoke the synthetic in the deer?
I didn't kill Pete. In Mandeville, brother. It lasts 20 minutes. It lasts 20 minutes. I've been smoking for 8 years. There ain't
Normal synthetic
What about-
last.
You saw the video of you fucked
Okay,
up.
it's either like this,
Right?
buddy. And I'm being honest. I ain't trying. I don't want you to take it wrong. It's either like this. Either you took something that screwed you up so bad you don't know what happened, or you sitting here lying to us. The evidence is.
I
Listen.
don't do anything but synthetic.
Okay, what I'm saying, it must have been something put in.
What's in that synthetic?
Anybody? I don't even know what they spray on it. I don't, brother.
That's what I'm saying. It could have been anything. But what the problem is, because you don't remember it happened, don't mean it didn't happen.
Despite the mounting evidence against him, Cameron continues to deny any involvement. However, for the detectives, it's clear he's the one responsible. It took quite some time to get him cornered, and it's taking even longer to draw out a confession. So as their next plan of action, they resort to the classic technique of sympathy, hoping to break him down.
Now we're being honest with each other. Like I was explaining earlier, I have family that's in law enforcement, and that's, yeah, I know, probable cause. Let's do what looks and go with our best judgment and this and that. But you know what, brother?
But I will tell
The
you,
book don't always read as the cover looks.
I agree with you
I'm not a
100%.
bad man.
I agree with you 100%. And we're not going to stop today just because we're arresting you. We want to figure out what happened.
Was Duck still in trouble, y'all?
Sir?
Was Duck still in trouble? And you just being scared, you don't want to tell him Duck.
What? I can't do this.
You have to do that.
I can't.
Was Pete your friend?
He was my best friend.
What happened, Cameron?
I woke up and we were wrecking. We were crashing. We were crashing. I was asleep. We were crashing.
What happened after?
I don't know. It was like, I thought Pete was knocked out. I remember coming up, I said his name. Pete, are you okay, Pete? Pete, I remember asking him if he was okay. He didn't say anything. I remember getting out the truck and running. I was trying to look for somebody to call. I stopped that car.
Who else was there?
Duck was in the truck with us when we left.
What happened?
But I don't know.
Cameron, come
He
on.
wasn't there whenever I... He wasn't there. He wasn't there. I got out of the truck, he wasn't there.
Why would you say you're worried about your family? Come on, can you walk us through it?
Can I smoke another cigarette first? Before we do this? I mean, is that all right? No.
Obviously, Cameron didn't get his second cigarette break, but finally, he says something that catches the detective's attention. His story has changed multiple times throughout the interrogation, but this version seems more convincing. But we'll soon learn that this is yet again not the truth.
Pete was your friend, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your best friend?
One of them.
He take care of you? So now it's your turn to take care of him. Look at me, Cameron. It's your turn to take care of him. Right? What happened? This is us talking man to man. What happened?
I didn't catch it all, but I caught that at the end of the conversation. Took one to go somewhere Pete wasn't trying to take it.
Where?
I'm not sure. I ain't gonna say I was out of it, but I was f***ed up on the synthetic. You know, I'm still laid back in the seat. I'm still trying to sleep. It was like they went to at each other, but I thought they were just kind of flapping at each other, you know. And then we started wrecking. And the wreck, I remember I couldn't get my door open. I remember climbing over Jared. I climbed over Pete. And then I look around. Duck was gone. He wasn't nowhere to be found. I said Pete's name 2 or 3 times. He was linked over the console. He didn't move. I went to go try to get help. Somebody. I don't know. I freaked out. I seen all the blood stuff on Pete. I checked his pulse. That's why the blood's on my
Where'd
sleeve.
you check the pulse at?
On his neck. I checked it on his neck.
Was the car running?
There were no keys. The keys were gone. I checked his neck. And then I freaked out. And then the Mexican, he didn't want to help me. The Mexican guy didn't want to help me. I just left. I just left him dead. I told one person.
Who'd you tell?
I'm not going to tell you.
And for the last time, his story changed, and this time he threw Duck under the bus once again. And about that one person would ultimately be the key to solving the case.
I ain't told him no more than what I sit here and told you, brother.
You have
I
to
would
tell
just
us.
prefer to keep them out of
You
it.
have to tell us. You have to. Cameron, look at me. Was Pete your friend?
Yeah, but they can't help you no more than what I'm.
They can help us.
They can't, though. All I did was go and vent.
Who was it?
Can't tell you. I don't want them involved in this. I don't want them involved.
They have to. We have to talk to him. We have to confirm what you're telling us. You have to. Okay.
Dude,
Right is right. Wrong is
I
wrong.
can,
All
look, I can sit here and tell you, but he's not going to tell you nothing. He's not going to talk to you.
Well, then tell me who it was. If he's not going to talk to us, that's fine.
It was Mama's son. It was Curtis. He stays over there with
It's who?
Curtis.
Soon, the detectives bring in Curtis Flowers, Cameron's good friend, for an interview. Curtis was the only person Cameron met after the tragic incident in the early hours of November 26, 2017. Fortunately, this is when the detectives finally get a solid story.
Stopped in my mom's room at the door. She said, "Hi, Mom, how you doing?" Mom looked up at her. She said, "Hi, how you doing, Cameron?" "I'm doing okay." He came. "Kurt, brother, can I talk to you?" Sure. I'm in my room, sat on the edge of my bed, and he just started shaking. I said, "Bro, what's the matter?" "Bro, I killed Pete." "Whoa." I said, "What?" "I think I killed Pete." I said, "What do you mean?" I was asleep. And the only thing I can remember is him hitting me. And the only thing I could do was just reach. And I stuck it. I said, "Okay." "Call the police?" "No." Where is he at?" "He's at the hospital." "No." "Well, where is he at?" He said, "I don't know." Okay. Then sat there for a second. And he went on to say, "I left him at the motel." And I said, "Okay, call the police." It would have been self-defense. If that's how you said it happened. He said, "I don't know, Kurt." And this is what I told him. I said, "Bro, you gotta go. You gotta leave here. Because Mom gonna see you crying. And she gonna ask you what's the matter. And then you're gonna end up having to tell her that I don't want my mom into that." And so he left. I walked him out the door. And I watched him walk up the street. He was headed to Arkansas. He stopped at the corner.
With Curtis's statements in hand, Cameron was charged with first-degree murder on November 27, 2017. On November 29, 2018, he was found guilty. Although Cameron maintained his innocence throughout the trial's first phase, he testified during the sentencing phase, claiming that Jared's death had been accidental. Despite this, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. Intoxication can clearly escalate into something tragic or alarming, and this case is a stark reminder of it. So do you think Cameron intended to kill Jared, or was it the influence of drugs that pushed him to kill Jared? Feel free to share your opinion. We'd love to hear from you. Moreover, if you have any case in mind that you want us to cover, feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments section. Also, subscribe to our channel to unravel more cases like this from around the world. Until next time, stay safe